The evening started quietly, almost like any other, but there was a subtle shift in the air the moment she arrived. I noticed it immediately, her hesitant step, the way she clutched her coat, the faint tremor in her hands, as if she had rehearsed this entrance 100 times. I leaned back on the couch beside Alex, feeling the familiar warmth of his presence. We didn't speak because words weren't necessary yet. She could feel the rhythm between us already, even without understanding it. It wasn't the first time we'd invited someone new into the quiet rhythm of our lives. And somehow I knew it wouldn't be the last. But something about her lingered in my mind. Her laugh, the way she hesitated by the doorway, eyes bright but cautious, as if she were weighing a secret choice. I leaned back beside Alex, my heart still drumming from the subtle thrill of anticipation. We didn't need words. She understood, even if she hadn't yet stepped forward. Before we dive in, if you love stories like this, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. Trust me, you won't want to miss a moment of what unfolds. Her name was Eleanor. She had arrived late the night before, quietly slipping into the small inn where we often spend our weekends, a traveler with soft eyes and a distant smile, alone, married, seeking something she didn't dare say out loud. The morning light seeped gently through the curtains, painting the room in gold and amber. Alex and I shared a quiet breakfast, our conversation low and teasing, the kind that only years together could make effortless. But even as we laughed, I caught Eleanor's gaze from across the hall. She lingered by the window, tracing patterns on the glass with a thoughtful finger. There was curiosity in her expression, a question she hadn't yet voiced. Later, I found her in the sitting room, perched on the edge of the couch with her mug of coffee. Her posture was careful, almost measured, as though she was testing the waters before stepping fully into our space. "Good morning," I said softly, approaching her. "Did you sleep well?" She smiled a little shyly. "Better than I expected," she admitted. "It's peaceful here." Alex joined me, and I saw the subtle ease settle over her shoulders. We spent the morning talking, exchanging small stories, our voices low and rhythmic, almost musical in their cadence. There was an invisible dance in the room, a shared awareness that each word, each glance was a part of something larger. By evening, we decided to invite her to dinner in the lounge, just the three of us. A bottle of wine, a few candles flickering, the faint scent of fresh flowers filling the room. She opened the door in a loose flowing dress, barefoot on the wooden floor, a gentle blush on her cheeks. It was understated but magnetic. "Hi," I said, smiling. "We thought we'd share the evening properly." She looked at the bottle in my hands, then back at us, hesitation flickering across her features, but her curiosity was stronger than her caution. She stepped inside, the door closing softly behind her. We began with small talk. Where she was from, what brought her here, how long she would stay. She answered with calm, polite ease, but there was a weight to her tone, a quiet story she hadn't yet told. "Traveling alone?" I asked gently, pouring her a glass of wine. "Yes," she said, looking toward Alex, then back to me. "I needed a change. Something different." He raised an eyebrow, a teasing smile playing at the corner of his lips. I nudged him lightly under the table. Something unspoken passed between us, a silent acknowledgement that we were both sensing the same thing. Conversation flowed naturally, laughter punctuating our words. Slowly, the barriers around her began to soften. She leaned a little closer, her gestures more relaxed, the faint brush of her hand against mine lingering just long enough to make me aware of it. I noticed her eyes lingering on mine during a story I was telling. A small, almost imperceptible trace of wonder in her gaze. "You have a way of drawing people in," I murmured almost to myself. She looked up, startled at the softness in my voice, and smiled faintly, a flicker of understanding in her eyes. We spent the evening in quiet companionship, the kind that fills a room without needing words. There was tension, yes, but it wasn't explicit. It was the thrill of connection, the heat of being truly seen and understood in a space that felt safe and electric. Every glance, every subtle touch of the hand, every shared laugh built something delicate yet undeniable. At one point, I noticed her reach for the wine glass. At the same time I did. Our fingers brushed. She didn't pull away. The brief touch was enough to send a current through me, a reminder that intimacy isn't always loud or overt. It can live in quiet moments, in gestures that almost go unnoticed. Alex leaned back, watching us with that knowing smile of his. I caught his eye and felt the familiar warmth of our bond. There was an understanding there, a playful acknowledgement that this evening was ours to navigate. Yet, she was welcome to join the rhythm. As the night deepened, our conversation drifted from mundane details to stories of past loves, whispered regrets, and the unspoken dreams that most people hide. Eleanor shared a few tales of her travels, each one painting a vivid picture of who she was, her voice soft but confident, filled with emotion. I noticed a subtle shift. Then she wasn't just observing anymore. She was engaging fully. Her laughter freer, her gestures bolder. The room was thick with unspoken possibilities. Tension folded into comfort, curiosity into connection. At the end of the evening, we moved to the living room, the candles casting long shadows and painting our faces in soft light. Alex and I shared a quiet glance, the kind that speaks volumes. And I saw Eleanor notice it, too. The three of us were caught in a delicate triangle of trust, curiosity, and unspoken desire. The night ended with a simple, lingering hug, not grandiose, not exaggerated, but intimate, subtle, charged with a quiet electricity. She left our company with a small, contemplative smile, and I couldn't help but feel the shift in the air linger long after she had gone. Even after she left, the room felt different. The soft glow of the candles still lingered, casting gentle shadows on the walls, and I realized the space had shifted, not in size, but in feeling. Alex and I remained seated on the couch, neither of us speaking, letting the quiet stretch between us. It wasn't awkward, it was full, like the air had been charged with something that couldn't be named. I traced my finger along the edge of the table, absent-mindedly, thinking about how Eleanor's presence had stirred something subtle, but undeniable. It wasn't desire in the typical sense. It was curiosity, the pull of connection, the delicate thrill of someone noticing the parts of you usually hidden. I glanced at Alex, and he caught my gaze with that small knowing smile that made my heart lift just a little. We didn't need to discuss it. We both felt the same way. Outside, the night had deepened, the hum of the street lights through the windows, the occasional distant car, even the whisper of wind through the trees. It all seemed to hold its breath, as if waiting for the story to continue. I stood and walked to the window, looking out, and for a moment, I imagined her sitting there instead, watching the same street. Her thoughts quietly tracing ours without ever touching them. Alex's hand found mine behind my back. A gentle squeeze grounding me in the present, reminding me that no matter how the world shifted around us, we had our own rhythm, our own understanding. "She's remarkable," he said quietly, almost to himself. Yet I heard it like a confession. "Yes," I whispered back. "And I think she knows it, too." The thought of her lingered in my mind as I moved back to the couch. I couldn't help but smile at how effortless it had been. No pressure, no rush, just connection, curiosity, and the quiet recognition of each other's presence. And yet, I knew something had changed. The night had opened a door, one I didn't yet know if we'd walk through again, but the memory of her smile, the subtle brush of her hand, and the quiet warmth in the room would remain. We sat there a little longer, letting the night wrap around us, savoring the unspoken understanding. In that quiet aftermath, I realized something profound. Intimacy isn't always about what is done. It's about what is felt. The pauses, the glances, the soft laughter, the unspoken words. They linger far longer than any dramatic gesture. And tonight, that lingering sensation would follow me long after the door had closed. A quiet promise of possibilities yet to be explored. To you, my beautiful viewers, if you ever offered someone a chance to step into a space they didn't know existed, to experience the quiet rhythm of trust and connection, what would it feel like when they finally said yes? Tell me in the comments. I genuinely want to hear your thoughts. If this story touched something inside you, hit like, share with someone special, and subscribe with the bell on because the next story might be the one that changes everything for